The football transfer market has truly exploded, hasn't it? We're seeing absolutely massive transfer fees flying around, big moves happening, and it's raising even bigger questions, really.
It really has. The sheer scale of the money, I mean, it's staggering, and it makes you look beyond just the headline signings and dig into the strategy behind it all.
Absolutely. And today, we're doing exactly that, a deep dive into one of Tottenham Hotspur's latest and, well, most significant acquisitions. Nottingham Forest midfielder Morgan Gibbs-White.
Yeah, big move.
Huge. We've pulled information from BBC Sports, Sky Sports, ESPN, trying to get a sort of rounded view of this whole thing.
Right. So our mission today really is to unpack the details of this, £60 million move, and try to understand Spurs' bigger picture, their transfer strategy this summer, especially with a new coach.
And explore what these massive deals actually mean for clubs, for players in the Premier League today. So, yeah, what does it all mean?
Let's jump in.
Okay, so the core story, breaking right now. Morgan Gibbs-White, 25 years old, Nottingham Forest midfielder. He's set for a medical at Tottenham today, Friday, July 12th. It looks like it's happening.
And the fee is $60 million, a huge sum.
£60 million. You see that number and you immediately think, well, is he worth that? Or is the market just, inflated right now?
That's the million-dollar... Well, the £60 million question, isn't it? What's interesting here is how it's happening. Spurs are reportedly triggering a £60 million release clause in his contract.
Ah, okay. So not really a negotiation, more like a decisive action.
Exactly. It's a formal process expected to speed up in the next 24 hours. Very direct. And, that clause being there suggests Forest knew they had a valuable asset when they signed him.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Definitely cuts through the usual back and forth. So tell us a bit more about Gibbs-White himself. He came from Wolves, right?
Yeah, joined Forest from Wolves back in August 2022. It was a club record fee for Forest then, $25 million plus add-ons. Signed a 5-year deal. He's clearly been important for them.
And his stats seem to back that up.
They certainly do. Over his 3 years at Forest, he's got 118 appearances under his belt. Scored 18 goals, provided 28 assists. That's a pretty consistent contribution.
Especially last season, he seemed to step up again. The Premier League campaign... BBC Sports says 7 goals, 8 assists in 34 games.
Right. The Sky Sports actually has him down for 10 assists last season. So, a slight difference there in the numbers.
Interesting. Either way, though, it's strong attacking output for a midfielder. Suggests he's got that flair, that impact Spurs seem to be after.
And it's not just club form. He's broken into the England setup, too. 4 caps now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, debut came under Lee Carsley, Republic of Ireland game, most recently off the bench against Senegal under Tuchel. So he's definitely, on the fringes of the national team, which adds to his profile.
And wasn't there interest from Manchester City as well?
There was, yeah. They were looking at him this summer, apparently, but then cooled their interest, turned to Reinders from Milan, and ran Turkey instead.
Right. But the fact City and other top clubs were sniffing around, that really tells you something about his quality, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It shows he's highly rated, despite maybe slight variations in reported stats. And look, connecting this to the bigger picture at Spurs, this deal is part of what people are calling a very un-Daniel Levy-like spending spree.
Huh. Yeah, I saw that phrase. $115 million reportedly spent in just 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's not the usual Spurs approach, is it? What's driving that?
Well, part of that $115 million is the $55 million for Mohamed Kudus from West Ham.
Ah, yes, Kudus. Another big signing.
Yeah, 24 years old, medical done yesterday, a 6-year deal. Scored 19 goals in 80 games for West Ham over 2 seasons. So 2 big attacking signings, both with Premier League experience, bang, bang.
Back to back.
Yeah.
And one source, interestingly, described Spurs as last season's Europa League winners and said Forest qualified for Europe. That seems a bit off, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's definitely a quirky detail from one report. Spurs were actually in the Europa Conference League qualifier spot last season, not Europa League winners, and Forest didn't qualify for Europe. So maybe a slight mix-up there, but the core point remains big spending.
Right, but the strategy seems clearer. Now, you mentioned Kudus as well. It answers that question if it's changed, maybe.
I think so. They appointed Thomas Frank last month, new head coach. And apparently the recruitment team's brief was very clear. Bring in flair players with Premier League experience.
Flair and experience. Okay.
It's not just random spending. It seems quite targeted.
And you can see Frank's logic there. He apparently feels the squad has loads of exciting young potential, but maybe lacks that proven, ready-to-go quality.
Exactly. And both Kudus and Gibbs-White, even though they're only 24, 25, they fit that bill. They're well-versed in the rigors of England's top flight.
Right. Kudus has the 2 seasons at West Ham, 80 appearances. Gibbs-White has played the last 3 seasons for Forest in the Premier League, plus he had games at Wolves before that.
Yeah, quite a bit of experience already. And this focus on proven players is underlined by their interest in others, too, like the Brentford guys, Yoane Wissa and Bryan and Mbeumo.
More Premier League experience.
It's a clear pattern. They want players who can, hit the ground running. Especially, and this is key, with Spurs apparently set for the Champions League next season, according to one source. That competition demands immediate quality.
Okay, Champions League football definitely raises the stakes. And look, this Spurs activity, it's not happening in a vacuum, is it? The whole market seems incredibly busy.
Oh, completely. You look at Forest, for example. Losing Gibbs-White comes right after selling Anthony Elanga to Newcastle for $55 million earlier this week.
Wow, that's 2 huge sales.
And they might not be done. There's talk of James McAtee from Man City, a $25 million move being looked at by Forest and Crystal Palace.
So clubs are definitely shuffling the pack.
Everywhere. Look at Benjamin Sesko at Leipzig, linked with Al Hilal after Arsenal talks cooled off. Arsenal now apparently looking at Victor Gyökeres from Sporting.
Gyökeres, yeah, he had a massive season.
And even within Spurs, their own vice-captain, Christian Romero, is apparently wanted by Atletico Madrid long-term, but he's seen as crucial for Frank, would take a huge bid, apparently.
So they know who they want to keep hold of, too.
Definitely. And then you've got other deals done, like Christian Nørgaard, Brentford captain, $10 million to Arsenal, Simon Adingra from Brighton to Sunderland for $21 million plus add-ons. It's just constant movement, valuing that ready-made talent.
It really paints a picture of clubs prioritizing immediate impact, doesn't it? Almost like a high-stakes game of musical chairs.
It can feel like that. So boiling it down for you, the listener, this big investment in Gibbs-White and Kudus too, it really shouts Thomas Frank's strategy at Spurs. Get proven Premier League flair. It's not just splashing cash, it feels like a calculated pivot.
Yeah, and for you, it's more than just the big numbers you see in headlines. It's about understanding the calculated risks, the strategic shifts clubs are making to try and compete right at the top.
It really highlights how specific player profiles like Premier League experience are being targeted to fit a new coach's ideas and how fast things move when that target becomes available.
Okay, so here's maybe something to really chew on. If a club like Tottenham, known for being, let's say, careful with money, suddenly spends $115 million in 24 hours specifically for Premier League experience, what does that signal about the value placed on hitting the ground running versus, say, developing younger, perhaps less proven potential over time?
Yeah, does it suggest maybe a lack of patience in the modern game? Or is it just a really shrewd understanding of what it actually takes to win right now in England's top flight?
Something to mull over until our next deep dive.